podcast. Fuck ass podcast. Fuck ass podcast. I actually have a topic today. Today's so I have these crazy fuck dreams, okay? I mean, not really, not crazy, I guess. Just shit that I wake up and just sit there for a little bit like, man, what the fuck? So last night I was on this road trip with an old friend, and the road trip I don't remember so much. I just remember exploring a lot, getting pulled over by like an old-timey cop that was just kind of fucking with us but didn't really do anything, and then old-timey like Leave It to Beaver type, and even in like an old car like that and shit. It was damn weird because we were driving like a early 90s pickup truck type thing, like I don't know, like some sort of little Chevy thing. But then when I got home, he dropped me out because it was his car, his truck. He dropped me off at home, and I went inside and I was talking to Mom, and she was like, listen. And the place I lived with my mom, and I had just broken up with I can't tell if it was some sort of a weird mix of my third girlfriend, the one that I was a terrible, terrible boyfriend, and I lived in her basement and all that, and my current wife. Maybe because they're both redheads, I don't know. But they're like, listen, she's been coming by looking for you, and the house was really big. Upstairs was a huge living room, which was kind of like what she had, but with a much bigger kitchen, and the stairs going downstairs were a broad staircase that started like in the middle of the house and went down quite a ways because the basement had high ceilings, and probably 18 steps or so, normal size steps in depth, but really wide. And my room downstairs was when you step down from the hallway, and I had like two king size, like California king beds end to end, and like a couple big screens on the wall. And I remember I was hiding down there because she's like, Krista's, my sister has I was like 20 in this dream, and somehow she was like 16, which we're 9 years apart, so it didn't really make any sense. But that part didn't anyway. Maybe I was like 28, who knows? Who really knows? But the big master bedroom upstairs was the one that my sister took because Mom moved downstairs, I guess because my sister's dad moved in, and I fucking hate him. I've always hated him. Such a prick. And just the way his facial expressions and his upper lip is tight, and he always just seemed like he was just a constant liar. Like, from the first time I met him, like, this guy's full of shit. Fucking hate him. But Mom seemed really happy, and something was always off. But she seemed really happy, so I just hid in my room a lot, and came to a point where I was up in the kitchen, and the kitchen was pretty big, but I was up in the kitchen talking to the stepdad, and he was like, listen, I'm not putting up with any of your shit. I was like, motherfucker, this is the first time you've talked to me since you came back. And he's like, but I'm just letting you know I'm not putting up with any of your shit. Like, because my plane went down, and I never checked in, and as far as the Army knows, I'm dead. As far as anybody knows, I'm dead. That's why I came here instead of Kansas. And I was like, oh good, that means if you piss me off, I can just kill you. and nobody will know you're fucking gone but mom and my sister. And that pissed him off. But I didn't give a fuck, because ever since I was the same size as him and not half his size, I haven't been scared of him at all. So I don't know if he was just trying to puff his chest out or what the fuck his deal was, but I wasn't the least bit intimidated. In fact, I was immediately starting to think of ways to kill him right there. Like, fuck this guy. Like, at first I thought maybe I should fucking snitch him out. And I was looking at people to call. Why is my voice always retarded in the morning? I was looking at people to call, trying to think of if I should snitch him out, or fucking kill him, or just leave it alone and see if he, see if him and mom work out, and maybe he's better, and maybe he's just trying to assert dominance or something. So after that, I went downstairs and was starting to, I turned on it was like World of Warcraft, but it wasn't, it was a MMO that was cartoonish. Maybe, I don't know, it was some sort of MMO. And, I was trying to teach, the Megan Beth hybrid. I was trying to teach, it's just gonna get the goddamn screen or the fucking windshield. I'll fix it when the sun comes up more. Motherfucker. But anyway, that looks better. But I was trying to teach them how to play, because they were playing all right, and but they were, simple shit wasn't being used that could help them a ton, and I was trying to hook them up, and mom came down and started talking to me, and and I thought about it, but nah, I was way too far back. If I were to tail them, maybe, but I don't like tailing people. It's not safe. It's not goddamn safe. But fucking, mom came down and was talking to me, and she seemed really distraught. And I'm like, what's going on? She's like, well, blah, 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 I'm just, things have been really rough with him since he came back. And I was like, you seem so happy when I got back home. I've been gone a while, because apparently the road trip was a long, long road trip. I barely remember the road trip part, because I woke up in the middle, and I went back to sleep. You know how it is when you go back to sleep and your dream kind of goes a whole nother direction, even though it's kind of related. But, man, I remember storms and snow and all kinds of weird shit. And cross country. But anyway, she was like, no, I was just, glad to see you, and we were talking. I noticed she had a big baby bump. And I'm like, is that why you're letting him live here? Because by the time she was down there talking to me, like, about 3 or 4 days had passed. And the dream seemed to, oh fuck, is there a goddamn train coming? God damn it, fuck this shit. Train's way down there, don't worry. But fucking, see, clear down there. But, I was a short little bitch anyway. So little, you're so short. But, oh, there's a goddamn truck. But, yonk. Fucking traffic. But she's like, yeah, he's been here for like 4 months or whatever. And I was like, I've only left like a month or two ago. And she just kind of looked at me. And she's like, you're in here a lot, you didn't notice. And I was scared to tell you he was going to move in. And I was like, what the fuck ever? Like, alright, whatever. So, well, this is the kind of traffic I'm used to. Yesterday was just too nice. But, so then she started crying, and I didn't know what to do. Like, man, I hate this fucking guy. And I was like, you want me to get rid of him? And then he's like, you can't get rid of me. He was in the doorway at the time, turned out. And then him and I started arguing. And I don't remember, he made some sort of a smart ass comment. And I leaned in and was like, nobody will know you're fucking gone. Like, I was not fucking with him. And I was like, fuck this shit. And I went out to my car and got my revolver and came back in. And he said something just provocative. And I just raised my gun up and pulled the trigger, and it clicked. And I pulled the trigger again, and it clicked. And I'm looking at it like, what the fuck? And fucking and he had his gun. He had a magazine fed gun, and he had his handgun. He had it up, and he was like, "You don't even know how to use a gun. It's pathetic." And it's just functionally not possible, as far as I know. But the revolver was it was turning in a way that the firing pin was lining up with the sides of the the bullet housings. So I turned it manually and had the hammer back and shot him right in the forehead, and it ricocheted off his skull in a way that he just kind of covered his head and raised his gun. And when he shot, I was already moving and repositioning my fucking revolver in a way that I could fire again. And he looked at his gun like maybe his didn't fire even though it was fired. Maybe his ears were ringing or whatever. And I got behind him and shot him in the back of the head. He fell down. And then I emptied the last few bullets I had, because I was already too short. And so I shot him once in the front of the forehead, and then 3 times in the back of the, well, 2 times in the back of the head, and once in his back. I want to make sure the fucker was dead. And then I took his gun and shot him a bunch in his torso. And then I called 911. Because that's how it is these days. You don't just shoot someone in self-defense. You fucking make sure they're dead. That's what I've learned. You don't just shoot them 1 or 2 times, because they could still try and kill you. You gotta make sure they're fucking dead. So, I goddamn tried. So I called, and it seemed like it took forever. I gave them all the information, told them what happened, and I guess they're like, "Oh, it sounds like he's dead, so we'll get somebody out there." And no ambulance ever came. I was outside, and there were people parking because there was a party down the street. And I was like, "Listen, you're not going to park in front of this house. There's about to be cops here." And they're like, "All right." And they moved their cars down the street. And then one like a sedan, like black sedan, showed up with some police lights going on in the top of the windshield and the rear windshield. And this blonde lady and kind of a tall, skinny guy got out. And no, it was a blonde lady and like a shorter brunette lady got out. And oh, excuse me, I was right the first time. The brunette lady was later. The blonde lady got out with a kind of tall, skinny, older guy. And blonde lady looked like a gorgeous, like 32-year-old. And the taller, skinny guy looked like a like a late 40s tired of my job type. And they were in there talking to me, and then they had me go outside, and they were talking to Mom. And in my head, I'm like, well, they must not be worried about me because they had sent me outside, and neither of them are watching me. They're talking to Mom. And then the guy came out and talked to me and said, listen, there's nothing going on here. It's okay. And I was thinking in my head, like, there's blood. There's, I fucking killed a dude in there. Even though he's a total piece of shit and he shot me first. Oh, wait a minute, he didn't shoot at me first, did he? He had his gun out. Whatever. And they're like, I think he said something about the gun was registered, someone's name is not even alive anymore. And I was like, what are you talking about? I was all confused. So then I went inside and his body was gone. The blood was all over the place, but his body was gone. And I was talking to the blonde lady, because the guy got in the car and left. And I was talking to the blonde lady in the kitchen, like, I don't understand. And she's like, well, there's really nothing to understand, Eric. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And she was like, come downstairs, I'll show you. So I go downstairs, and fucking the prick is just standing there in this one room, a part of the basement I'd never been in before, because the place was pretty big. And it wasn't never my room down there, so I never went in that area. And it was this, this concrete room with all kinds of shit in there. And there's all these cut cabinets and cupboards and shit. And I didn't fucking understand. I was like, this is bullshit. Like, something's fucking weird. Like, I had no idea how or why or what the fuck. And so she went off upstairs. She wandered off and was like, I'm gonna go talk to your mom. And then I heard a commotion. So I went out one of the there were some windows that you could see, get some light in from the ground level upstairs. So I hurried up. I pushed the prick. I pushed it so deep. I fucking pushed Paul. I pushed him and fucking jumped up and popped open the window and climbed out, because I was skinny and still in shape and could do that kind of thing. And ran around the front of the house and went in, and just in time to see the top of the blonde's head running down the stairs. And I was so furious anyway. And Mom was hanging from the banister on the side, because there's like a stylish metal banister on each side of the wide stairs, and she was hanging from one of those with like a some sort of like a bike lock type thing, probably from Breaking Bad or whatever, but it was black. Wasn't Breaking Bad's red? I don't remember, but it was a big one. It almost looked like some sort of a weird one of those things you put on your steering wheel that nobody knows how to use, apparently. When you put those things on your steering wheel, the long part goes in between your windshield and the side where the door is. It doesn't go out willy-nilly into the car. Anyway, so then I'm like, alright, fuck this. So it's gonna have to take a personal approach, I guess. So I went in the kitchen and got a couple big ass knives and went downstairs. I was just gonna kill both of them. I don't give a fuck anymore. Because in the dream, apparently, I still loved Mom. Even though right now, I probably would have been like, alright, cool, this is all done here, and would have just left. But, yeah, whatever, shut up, judge me all you want. But in the dream, I was like, fuck this, these motherfuckers are gonna die. So I go downstairs, back into that room, because I figured that's where he went. And I remember when I passed my room, I looked in the other room that him and Mom were using. And I went back into the concrete room, and him and the blonde lady were standing back there, and he was all fucked up. He still had the places where he was shot, but it was kind of scabbed over. And what the fuck? It must have like some sort of autofocus. Bitch. I gotta figure out how to shut that motherfucker off. Oh my god. Such a worthless twat. Man, there you go, bitch. Ain't that nice? No, just fuck up in 13 seconds anyway. But so I went in there, you know, knives brandished, ready to fucking start stabbing motherfuckers. And they were just standing there totally not giving a fuck at all. I ran right at him, jabbed the knife in his fucking throat, and then jabbed it in his chest 5 or 6 times. And I was always hitting shit inside, like bones felt like and shit. And he wasn't really that phased. And he's like, look, and like pulled this one of the places where I stabbed him a couple times, pulled it open a bit, and it looked like there was like some sort of weird metal mesh around his organs and shit. And he's like, not only can I not feel anything on my arms and legs or on my skin anymore, like all my internal organs are protected. Like your bullets can't hurt me. And when I woke up, I was thinking, you know, I could have at least cut his fucking eyes out. But, and they're like, the girl's like, I am the same way. And she kind of opened up some of the shit down there in that concrete room, and there's all kinds of S&M and bondage and crazy torture shit, and looked like, at first I thought it looked like stuff for doing some sort of operations, but no, it was all torture shit. And they're like, you want to fuck with us, you know, you can live the rest of your life in agonizing pain, however many hours or years it is, or you can just fucking leave, and none of this ever happened. And so I got right up in his face, and I'm like, you're a fucking pussy. And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, you had to fucking be altered. You had to fucking be altered to not be able to have to deal with anything. And he's like, what do you mean? I was like, you can get stabbed and shit, you don't feel it, and it doesn't hurt you. I was like, you had to do that because you're a fucking pussy and you know it. And she was like, what are you doing? She's like, are you making a choice to stay here with us? And I was like, no, I'm just letting him know he's a fucking pussy. And I was like, you know I'd fucking kill you. I was like, you couldn't even pull the fucking trigger. And I fucking had the knife in my hand. I was thinking about just, you know, jabbing him in the crotch over and over. And went over, buddy. Come on, buddy, let's get over. So I felt totally defeated. So I went up, and I was starting to walk up the street, and I realized he was right behind me. And so I stopped right in the middle of the intersection. Oh, I was crossing the street. I wasn't in the middle of the intersection, but I was crossing the street, and right after I stepped in the street, I turned around, even though he had like, you know, 4 inches higher ground, because that's how, you know, sidewalks work. They descend down on a ramp to the street. At least these ones anyway. And I stood right up, looked up at his fucking face, and was like, you're a fucking pussy. I was like, you're fucking following me just to try and be hard. And you know you're a fucking pussy. I may not be able to kill you, it doesn't mean you're not a fucking pussy. And he just he was so fucking mad. But now there are people around. And I'm sure they're looking at him like, this dude's covered in blood. But he's like following this kid like he's gonna kill him or something. And fucking, I was like, I'm gone, bitch. I was like, if I ever find a way, I'm gonna come back here and definitely kill you. And he's like, you can't. I'm like, well, we'll see. And fucking walked off. I have no idea what happened to my sister. I probably don't want to know. When I was going up the stairs to leave, Mom was still hanging there, but she was totally dead. I was just so fucking furious. And not long after that, I walked up the street a few blocks, and then my alarm went off. Man, fuck that guy. I was kind of hoping it would take longer to go through that dream. It's probably why I don't watch drama shit on TV, like people fighting and all that, because I've seen enough of it in my life and I have enough in my dreams. I don't need to watch it on TV, too. No, thank you. I'll take comedies and action and shit. Not like drama and fighting and mental abuse and shit. No, thank you, sir. I really like these LED outline type shits they've been doing in cars lately. These designs and patterns and lines and all that shit. It's pretty cool. My favorite out of all of them is the Honda Civic, though. Except for the one that I saw that I've never seen again. I'm kind of hoping I'm going to drive around Scottsdale doing a podcast here eventually. Probably after I move to that area, that side of town anyway. Since Scottsdale will be right there. So that way I can maybe catch that car on camera. So I can show my car buddy, be like, look, 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 I'm not crazy. And then he can be like, what the fuck is that? But if I can, I'm going to fucking follow him and hope to fuck they go to like a store or something. So I can get up and take pictures of their car. I'm not going to follow anybody home. Once they start going into residential, I'll probably fuck off. But there are so many goddamn Priuses around that who's going to think of a Prius going in the same neighborhood as you? Nobody. I kind of wish I had turned my maps on. Because I'm a little interested as to why this is such a fuck. But I don't care. I still have 50 minutes to get to work. And I'm pretty sure this isn't going to take 50 minutes to get through. A coworker had been through here and mentioned a whole bunch of boarded up places. But I never noticed because I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck what's going on off the side of the road. But I just saw one that's boarded up. Now that I'm looking for it. But anyway, Lily wasn't feeling good last night, and she was real tired at like 7 o'clock, and I was real tired at like 7 o'clock. And I know she just meant to take a nap, but I wanted to go to bed. So I've got the TV in my room or whatever. It's a monitor hooked up to a computer, hooked up to the internet, and I can stream whatever I want, including shit off of my other computers. And fucking so she went to sleep almost immediately, and I wasn't very far behind her, and I don't remember her waking up after that. Oh no, she woke me up a couple times, and I'm like, Lily, I'm sleeping. Like, you can watch TV all you want, but I'm sleeping. I've got to get up early tomorrow. And she's like, all right. So when I was getting kind of pissed off because the second time she woke me up, I was like, Lily, you keep waking me up. You're going to go sleep in your room. But I know she was just bored. Well, I kind of feel bad, but what are you going to do? Last night I was up with her till like 1, and I was dead at work. There's just no excuse for how tired I was. I should not. And plus, after she went to bed, it was one of those things I was up so long I couldn't get to sleep. And watching Joe Rogan, I'm sure, didn't help. because he's hilarious, and everybody that was on that podcast was hilarious. The one I was talking about with Tom Segura and the loud hilarious dude, that was episode 1000, like on the dot. I happened to, it was